Hey everybody, how's it going? I just wanted to make this short, well, at least I would like it to be short video, of the add-ons that I'm using for my playthrough. I've actually got a fairly decent amount of add-ons that I've got going on right now. So let me first off show you the list that I'm using. So here we go. I am using advanced filters, which is responsible for, if I were to go over to weapons, I can filter through different, bows, one-handed, two-handed, different types of staves. Armor, I can filter it by light, medium, and heavy, shields, clothing, different types of consumables between drink and food, just really all the filters you could want. You can even, I believe this up here is advanced filters. I don't believe this is in the original. And then, you can filter it by raw materials, temper materials for all of your different crafting professions. So this is just absolutely one of those convenience of life convenience mods. It's just great for filtering through things when you're trying to find one specific item. And I think you can even filter by search. Again, I'm not remembering actually if this was part of the vanilla inventory. And that's more a testament to just how long I've had this add-on installed, because it is a phenomenal add-on. So a huge thank you to Randastill. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Here you can see I don't have it activated, but better UI. I don't really play with controller all that often, not anymore. But when I do, I always prefer to have better UI on, especially since Prasok fixed a lot of the problems with the inventory not remembering your position and causing all sorts of crazy glitches. He's definitely fixed it since then, and yeah, next time I use Gamepad I will of course be using it with better UI. Next one is Harven's bag space, which is really just for, see if I can find anything. This shouldn't get me in trouble. If I just look at what is in the bag, you can see down here now I see inventory space 19 out of 60. So that's going to be something that I can use to let me know what my inventory space is at the time of looting. So this way I'm not constantly having my bag get filled all the time. I can at least get some warning when I'm about to have to go back and sell and craft some stuff down. So again, thank you to Harven for bag space, and thank you Harven for probably my favorite mod, is the Harven's Quest Journal. This is another mod like Advanced Filters, where once I saw this add-on ages ago, it's been installed in my game ever since. The original inventory, or the original journal, I used to think it was okay, but after Harven's Quest Journal, this is just so boring. I mean, it's more functional, and it's easier to select a quest and see where all your quests are, and you've got everything more easily at your fingertips here. But when you compare it to just the style of this, being able to still sort things and change how they're sorted, either ascending or descending, I can check my completed quests, and I can see the level of the quest, though I guess with one Tamriel that doesn't matter quite as much anymore. But I can still track all the different quests. I can get the location of each quest. So for the most part, it's still just as functional as the normal journal log. But this does have one feature that I don't think there's any way to access with the normal journal, and that is, let's see if I can find a quest for it. Here we go. So I got this quest from Tumasha on the ship. You might have seen that on episode 2 at the very end. So Tumasha wants me to go find Captain Colleen, and because I started this quest because of a conversation that I had, I can actually click on her name, and I can actually see the conversation that me and Tumasha had leading up to the quest. So when you have conversations with reoccurring characters, or if it's a side quest that goes on for a long time, this area here, your conversation with them, can actually get pretty massive. So it's an even more comprehensive journal of everything that's going on. I can even see, you know, the different conversation options I selected and her response for them. So I love that. I absolutely love that. It's a great way of, you know, if you don't play the game for a while, you come back in and you say, man, what did I do to start this quest? You click, you get reacquainted with the character and what was talked about, and boom, you're set to go. Plus, not only that, if I go to the settings for it, you can see I've got all these different options here. I love this. So, open journal unfocused quest. So if I turn that to on, whatever quest I have currently selected, it opens directly to it. So if I were to go back and set my active quest to, whoops, the Broken Spearhead, when I close my journal, open it back up, there we go. We're at the Broken Spearhead, as opposed to if that's off, every time I open it up, I get my current quest list. And then if I want to check it out, I would have to click on it. So that's a nice little convenience setting right there, but even more than that, book skin. Harven has actually got 3 different types of books that you can read. I mean, it's the same texture of the book that you get when you read books and letters and stuff like that in the game, but I can change it to rubbing, and when I open it back up, it's this really dark, not incredibly useful color, but it's neat that I can use it. And I can also set it to skin, which has more of the, like it's leather, like a leather book. I kind of like this one. It's pretty neat, but for me it's hard to beat that classic paper book style. And then you can even change the font and everything. You can change the colors of everything. Just absolutely love this mod. This mod is phenomenal. Thank you so much, Harven. Phenomenal mod. Moving on, we've got Immersion Toggles, and this is actually the setting that I use, and again, thank you, Terralyn, for this mod. This is the setting that I use to pretty much get the effect you're seeing right now. That guy's arm was in my screen. Yeah, that's the effect I'm using right now. At the top, you'll see I have no compass, I have no chat window, no chat minibar. My skills don't show up unless I hover over them, or if I go into the skills window and then they pop up here. Yeah, so I actually have it so that when I go into combat, I'm not going to even attempt to fight anybody in this city, but if I were to go into combat, I would have my reticle pop up, and actually it's popped up right now for some reason, and I'm not sure why. That shouldn't be up right now. I'll have to get that sorted. Yeah, so in an ideal world, my crosshair would not be showing up right now. It would only be showing up in combat. And then I have it show up when I'm looking at an interactable, because this right here, crates empty, you know, E, steal from, E, talk to, those don't show up if you have the crosshair set to always off with the mod. And I also have it turned on when what was the third one? Right, when I'm sneaking. So when I sneak, you know, you get the little eye that closes, and then you're hidden or detected based on your skill and if there's, you know, hundreds of people around me like there is now. And let me see, you know, while we're here, I can show you at the same time what this immersion toggle setting looks like. So I actually want this to hide always. Now when I go back, this one's a little finicky. You sometimes have to manage this element off to on, and then there we go. Now my crosshair is gone, yet when I sneak, it pops up, and there we go. And then I get out of sneak, and it's gone. And when I look at things, I can see my crosshair pop up again with barrels steal from, and that is one thing that I actually I wasn't aware of at first. If you take off aiming at interactable, so this is important if anyone plans to use this. If I took off aiming at interactable so it only shows up in combat or sneaking, I can no longer see what I'm looking at. You know, I don't get anything to talk to this character here. I can't see if these barrels are empty, etc., etc. So, if you are planning on using Immersion Toggles, which I of course highly recommend, I think that's a great mod, make sure you have that one on so that when you look at things, you can actually see if you're stealing or if it's a character you can talk to, and all that good stuff. So that's great mod. I really like Immersion Toggles. I was using, prior to this add-on, like 3 or 4 different add-ons to hide things like the compass, hide things like the chat window, and then Immersion Toggles came out not too long ago actually, and it pretty much did everything I wanted a huge collection of mods to do. So huge props to mod creator for that one. It saved me a lot of hassle, and it has account-wide settings. So all these settings that I've set are actually settings that will go across to all of my different characters, and I don't have to load them or anything. So I set all these up once, I make a new character, and I'm set to go with all these Immersion Toggles. Now, inventory grid view, that one we have already seen, and this is probably one of the most popular add-ons. So I'm sure everyone is pretty much familiar with this add-on. Pretty much just gets rid of this view, which is it's fine. I think there's a certain appeal to the list. I like being able to see the names of everything, but I mean, look at this. This is a huge scrolling list that looks kind of like a nightmare to get through. I use the icon list, and it fits not even on half a page. You know, it really condenses everything down, and there's not really ever a need to see the names of what you're looking at. I mean, especially in conjunction with advanced filters, you know, if I, starting out here, say, okay, I got a new sword, I go in here, I go to my weapon, one-handed, and there we go. I've got my 2 weapons. And the icon, or the backgrounds, will actually change depending on the quality of the item. Now, because I'm a new character, I don't actually have any good quality items, but if I had a green, blue, or purple item, that gray background that you see behind the icon would reflect the color of the quality of it. So it ends up being a really quick and easy way to see your entire inventory at a much quicker glance. Plus, it's just very visually appealing, I think. Then, if we actually take a look at those settings, which was inventory grid view. So you've got all sorts of different skins here, so I can set it to classic, which makes it look like this. This one's okay. I don't like the squares. It just looks a little weird because the background for the icons get kind of cut around the square. I'd love to see that kind of texture behind the icon in a circle view. I would like that a lot. Rushmik. This one also not too bad actually. Again, I'm not a fan of that square look. Looks just a little too boring for my taste. I know that's hugely personal preference. And if we took a look at it again, clean. And again, squares, but very, very clean. I mean, that name does definitely speak for itself. There we go. Alright, let's set that back to circles. And again, the rarity outlines you can toggle on or off. You can set the level of item at which it will actually show you the color of it. So right now I have it set to magic. So anything, I believe that's green. So anything green or above, I will get the color for it shown on the inventory. If I set it up to artifact, I think that's purple. So anything below purple will just be a gray. So that's a great way to, as you're leveling up and you care less and less about green or blue level items, that's a great way to filter those out, and you just get to focus on the things you care about. And as for grid size, icon zoom level, I would personally recommend not messing with those. The zoom and everything that the mod author has set up kind of has it so that the items pop a little bit without looking blurry. And I've noticed that if I start messing with those settings, especially item zoom level, it ends up looking blurry and just doesn't look great in general. Personal preference, though. And then offset tooltip, if I were to turn that to off, you would see that the tooltip follows, well, like the description of what I'm hovering over follows my mouse and it goes directly onto the item that I'm looking at. That can be pretty handy, but as you can see, you know, it covers up everything if I'm looking at items over here on the right-hand side of the screen. So, again, I recommend leaving that to on, so that you've got everything popping up over on the side, not getting in the way, nice and clean. And you've got all this empty space in the middle anyways, so no real need for having it follow your mouse when you've got all this open space. Next up, and as you can see, lore play. That one wasn't working for me. I have not checked in a day or so to see if this one's updated for 1 Tamriel. I'm going to assume that at the time of recording it has not been, and it was giving me some problems with the newest update. I might need to look into that one, because I do like that one. That's a great mod. If it gets updated, I'll probably make a video showing off the features for that. Next up is No Thank You by Garkin and Aentir. And this one's a little bit interesting, actually. I wasn't entirely sure about what this add-on was all about. Right, it was No Thank You. Is that the one I was looking at? Yeah, No Thank You. So No Thank You is a mod that, as you can tell, covers a lot of stuff. In the most broad sense of the term, it mostly just gets rid of annoying little messages. So it'll get rid of a lot of the text alerts. So as you can see, you know, target immune. So if I'm attacking a character and it's a boss and I'm trying to stun him, you know, generally bosses don't get stunned or have those kind of debilitating effects applied to them. So that message would usually pop up, I think, up here on the top of your screen. That doesn't happen anymore, especially if you've played the game for any amount of time. You can pretty much tell if an enemy is going to be immune or not. Screenshot saved, it'll block those. It turns off the crafting result alerts, so, you know, again, the little message up here saying you've successfully crafted something, you've unsuccessfully crafted something. I don't need the little icon up there. A huge thing pops up in the middle of the screen telling me what I got. It blocks the ultimate ready sound if you want. Some nice little options here. You know, you could always have that sound muted. Out of combat, it could be muted, or in combat, it could be muted. I set mine to never so that I can hear that, because again, I have my skill bar at the bottom hidden at all times. So I don't really see when the ultimate is available. I'm just kind of going off of intuition and when I hear that sound. Market announcement, fence dialogue, delete mail, things like that. But, let's see, where is it? Here we go. This one, camera and interaction. So, I can do don't interrupt interaction, and just like it says, don't interrupt interactions, like harvesting or fishing, when you open the map, inventory, or other scenes. So, if I were to go along and... Oof, I actually don't think I have anything here that I can show it on. Nothing to harvest. Any fish? No, unfortunately not. Nothing that I can show it off on. But, you know, say I'm over here fishing, or I'm here harvesting a plant, or ore, anything like that. Let's see. Anything? No. Yeah, so if you're ever harvesting materials, picking up crafting items, that will make it so that if you open up the map or your inventory, it doesn't cancel that interaction and then have you spin and face the camera. But you probably noticed that second option there. That second option being don't rotate game camera. So one thing that's always bugged me is this. Every time if I want to check my inventory, my character weirdly rotates around, looks me straight in the eye, and I'm here fiddling with my inventory, being judged. So I really don't like that, especially if I'm in first person and I'm getting all immersed into the game. Inventory, oh, yeah, now I'm taken out of it because I just got yanked out of the back of my character's head and he spun around and faced me. A little weird. I really don't like that, and that is why, that's pretty much the biggest reason that I installed No Thank You, to be quite honest. So if I am looking at this beautiful scene, open up my inventory, I still get to see the scene. And I can even rotate my camera around. So if I open up my inventory and I start off like this, and I'm looking at different items that I can equip, there we go. And I can say, well, you know, how does this look? How does that look? How do these look? You know, I can even do it all in first person. You know, just change whatever out I want. I love that. And I can zoom out, rotate around for the full fashion scrolls experience. And actually, you know what? I noticed now that these gloves I'm wearing are actually green quality, so you can see that's what the item rarity outline looks like. So there you go. Very cool. And where's my flame staff? There we go. So yeah, that is No Thank You. Again, another highly recommended add-on. I just love that it doesn't spin the camera around. That is absolutely essential for me. Next up is PinKiller, and I need to stop closing the menu. PinKiller does pretty much exactly what it says. All of those floating icons and arrows above characters' heads, it just gets rid of them. At least the ones you want. So I don't have the quest compass open, but if I did, I could toggle, you know, quests showing up on it, the little blue outline that would form when I get into area of a quest, and repeatable quest compass pins you can turn on or off, map pins. If you really want to be crazy, you can even turn off the pins for quests in the world map and zone maps and stuff. So if you really don't want to see where any of the quests are, there you go. Personally, as much as I love having all of the pins off, I do realize that they're slightly necessary to navigate the world. And then floating quest pins, which I actually need to find. Yeah, I do need to reload the UI, so I won't be doing this now. But you might have noticed if you watched the end of my second video, I had a hard time finding the character that I'm supposed to talk to continue my quest, because I could not find her quest pin. And so I need to figure that out so that I can actually find my way around the city. It's a pretty big city, to be fair. But yeah, so PinKiller is another great one. Great for if you really want to get kind of immersed in the world and actually, you know, find characters yourself instead of following quest objective markers all over the world. This, I think, is a great way to do that. Next one, slightly improved dialogues. Now this one is probably my second favorite add-on, right behind Harven's quest journal. So if I were to go up to this character and start talking,
You're not one of those
notice?
fists.
I mean, I'm sure you did, but it basically turns it so that without SlowDialogues, if I were to talk to this character, what you see right here would just have popped up. But with it installed, I am now encouraged to actually listen to what she is saying and not immediately gravitate over to the subtitles and just read what she's saying and then mash the keys and really just not care about the characters or what they're saying. Now, not every character is worth listening to, unfortunately, but the vast majority of them are. And I think this mod is so great because, I mean, everything is voice acted. And for the most part, that voice acting is really, really good. So this is a great way for me personally to actually listen to all the characters. Don't just rush through the conversations, but to actually kind of be invested in what they're saying and how it relates to the world around me. So yeah, I do love SlowDialogues. It has some options in the menu for the delay and everything on that. So if I were to go in here, I could set the delay before two characters appear. So this kind of just is a general slowdown for how quick the dialogue displays. Starting delay, so if I wanted it to start a couple, I think this is in milliseconds, after the character starts talking, maybe not milliseconds, probably just normal seconds. If I wanted it to display a couple seconds after the character started talking, I can do that here. And the fade length, which just kind of sets the general fade length on that animation, as you can read right there. Next add-on, TrueExploration. And this one is actually one of the newer mods that I've added. So I have actually just entered into this zone. I got off that ship, I walked across the little boardwalk here, walked in front of that building, and then I've just been kind of meandering around this little area. When I open my map, that is all that I have seen of this entire world. I don't know what is over in Craglorn. I do not know what's over in Stormhaven. I don't know what's over in the Rift, because I've never been there. Well, technically my character Ishvel is from the Rift, a farmer from the Rift, but, you know, compromises. Deshaun, I've never been there, so I have no idea what that zone looks like. And, let's see. Yeah, I don't know what anything in Cold Harbor looks like, because, again, I've only been there in that tutorial zone, which I don't think actually counts as an area in the world. This little piece of land is the only bit of world that I know right now. And, you know, it's going to be great. You know, the more I play this game, the more that these zones are going to fill up with the travels that I've been, and I can actually trace my path through these zones using this add-on. I think that is absolutely awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. The add-on does come with some settings itself. You know, setting how much of the dungeon, islands, town, zones, stuff like that is actually revealed as you walk through. You know, setting the opacity of hidden or discovered, things like that. So pretty good customization options here. It does even give you some chat commands for if you want to discover a zone completely. Like when I installed this on my character that's level 40 or so, I used the /discover to discover the map that I had pretty much been wandering around in for hours, and I didn't want to have to fill that map in again. But it's great for new characters. Absolutely love that idea. Really makes it feel like you're going out and discovering new lands, which I think the Elder Scrolls Online is kind of always... Well, the Elder Scrolls games in general have always been phenomenal with. Okay, and then the next ones are courtesy of Votan. These ones are pretty simple. If I go over to... We'll start with the map. Votan's improved locations. As you can see, all of the locations in the world are now put into their respective categories for the pact that they belong to. Or I guess the faction that they belong to. Now, with One Tamriel, these are probably not going to be as important as they once were, but it's still neat to see, you know, what locations fall under which faction. And if you really are interested in sticking to your faction, you can just make sure that you're kind of traveling within these zones. And then if you really want to go outside your comfort zone as that faction, you can head over to one of the other zones. But it just makes it more convenient. Originally, it's just a big list, a little bit hard to navigate. And then we had Votan's Keybinder. This one's pretty simple. Here in your key bindings, you can see there's little checkboxes next to all of your keys. You can pretty much just click a button to, I think it's deselect all, select all, and it'll checkmark all of these, and anything with a checkmark on it will then be a account-wide setting, which is amazing because I love making more characters, but the absolute worst part of that experience is then getting into that character and having to rebind all of the keys. And I actually do like to have some pretty different key bindings than the default vanilla experience. I like to have F as my...
Steal from me? Away with you!
Okay. I will just get out of that situation there. I have F actually set as my draw weapon. And I'm actually forgetting what I have as my other key bindings. I've got like B for interacting with characters. I think Z is my ultimate. Yeah, something like that. Middle mouse is my auto run, which I actually don't like that. I think I want to set that to R. But yeah, so I kind of changed the key bindings, and it was getting a little annoying every time I made a character, having to then reset it for all those characters. And I would forget what my original key bindings were because I have a hard time remembering those things. So this has been a huge lifesaver for me. So again, thank you to Votan. And again, thank you to Shinny. And I already said thank you to Garkin and Aeontir. And then actually PinKiller, slightly improved dialogues. I don't know who made that. That's a shame. Whoever made slightly improved dialogues, you're probably not watching this video, but hey, if you ever do, thank you. Your add-on is incredible. Oh, actually, slightly improved dialogues is not the one that I was talking about. SlowDialogues. Thank you to Shinny and TrueExploration, Shinny and PinKiller. Shinny, again, you know, thank you for those. Slightly improved dialogues. I almost forgot to talk about that one. I don't know whose add-on this is, unfortunately, but I was not lying when I said that it is another great add-on. Let me talk to this character again. So here we go. You will notice that the character's name that I'm talking to is actually bigger than it is in vanilla. I think the text itself is left largely the same, but instead of having like the little thin lines that appeared above and below your selected options, it's filled in with this kind of gray bar. It doesn't look too great with just that one option for talking to them. I can't find anyone with a bit more dialogue, unfortunately, right now. But if you watched any of my first two videos that I've made for this this Let's Play, then you have seen that one in action, no doubt. And that's a great add-on. I really like the design of it. It just looks more sleek. It looks a bit more stylized and not as kind of... I don't know. I thought the original looked kind of thrown together. Just not really a fan of it. And the slightly improved dialogues is, you know, exactly what it says on the tin. It is not an overhaul of the dialogue. It's just a little bit better, but it looks great. Okay, and I think that covers everything. I wanted this to be a short video, but, you know, that's just how it works, I guess. There was a lot to go over with my add-ons. Hopefully I covered everything. Gave all of the add-on creators their appropriate respects, because I certainly have no idea how to make anything like they did. And if I did know how to make anything like they did, I am certain that it would not be half as good as the work that they put out there for us, the players, for free. That's incredible. Again, I thank them so much. And I think that does it for me. I hope that I will see you all on my next episode of The Elder Scrolls Online, which will be episode 3, which I'm hoping I'll be able to get out within the next day, if not the next day or two. Alright, have a good day everyone. Thanks so much for watching.